Good afternoon, kia ora koutou, and welcome to the Hawke's Bay Business Growth and Support Virtual Conference. My name's Angela Caves, the Digital Events Manager for Digital Boost. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. It's wonderful to have you all here. With me this afternoon, I've got Tessa Williams, who is the Employment Liaison Advisor from Connected.govt.nz, who is our collaborating partner for this conference. Today is day 3, the final day of our conference. We've had 8 fantastic presentations over the last 2 days, and we've just wrapped up with our friends from the Ministry of Social Development. If you've missed any of those sessions, we will be sending a link out post the conference for you to watch the recordings at your own leisure. Today's session is being recorded and also live streamed to Facebook, LinkedIn and YouTube, so welcome to our viewers there. I'm going to hand over to the lovely Tess, who's going to share some webinar housekeeping details, and then she will introduce our presenter for the session. Thanks, Tess.
Kia ora koutou, and welcome again to the session with Inland Revenue. During the webinar, if you have any questions or thoughts or technical issues, then you can post them in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll get to the questions at the end and give them to Daryl to answer. I'm really excited by this session. Inland Revenue were the reason really this COPUP has started with supporting the wage subsidy lines and noticing the disconnect and the opportunity for when our businesses and Inland Revenue connect and connect early. So really excited for this session, and I'll pass it over to Daryl Mataiti from Inland Revenue.
Cool. Thanks, Tessa. Welcome everybody. As Tessa said, my name is Daryl Mataiti. I work in community compliance at Inland Revenue. So a big part of our role is the education side of things in terms of small business owners, community groups, etc. And so that's where my involvement comes in with the session this afternoon. Around New Zealand, we have 280 staff. So we have quite a few of us community compliance officers around the country. We're in most of the sites in New Zealand. And I think for the Hawke's Bay region, we have a team in the Napier office. And so that would be your local community compliance officers for all of you there. So today, we'll go through a bit of information around the sort of services that we provide to the community, as well as some of the resources that are available. So I'm just going to share my screen. I have a PowerPoint presentation that we're going to work our way through. Let's see, here we go. Okay. All right, so let's start. Here's the topics that I'm going to make my way through. So I'll talk a little bit about our workshops and webinars. We offer a whole series of these around the country. At the moment, mostly online, virtually. So I'll talk a little bit about the different topics that we cover and how you can register. I'll also cover some information on how you can get some one-to-one support from Inland Revenue. So we call that an advisory, and I'll give some information about how that works. I'll also talk about our online services. So a lot of you may already be registered for MyIR. We do encourage people to look at registering and to use that as the main way of managing your taxes and your entitlements. So I'll share some information on how that works as well. And also finish off with some info around resources. So we'll talk a bit about our website, what's available there. And also, you may not be aware, IRD has a YouTube channel. So I'll just share a bit of information on what's available for you to view on our YouTube channel. Thinking about our workshops and webinars, we have been running these for quite a long time. It would be at least 15 years, maybe a bit longer. We provide 3 main workshops. So the one that's the most popular is our income tax one. It is designed for small business owners. In that workshop, we go through information around the sort of records you need to keep, a cash book, what about invoices, etc. We also go into the sort of expenses that you can claim. So what if I run my business from home? Can I claim some of those costs in my tax return? I'm using my vehicle for the business, but it's still used privately as well. What can I claim? What sort of records do I need to keep? That sort of general information, as well as how am I going to calculate my tax and when is my return filed, all that sort of stuff. It is our most popular workshop that we provide, and they're provided around most of the different sites in New Zealand. There are some that are only provided in certain offices because it's all based on demand, but the income tax one is quite, is offered for most sites around the country. We also have a GST workshop, and there we cover information on when you're registering, what are the sorts of options that you have. Also, for my invoices, what sort of detail do I need in there? How to calculate the GST, how to fill in the return. Yeah, really useful stuff. The last two workshops we offer there aren't as popular, but we do offer them for employers who might be new to employing, not sure what they need to do, want to get a bit of guidance there. And also we have a team in IRD that are specifically focused on helping and assisting and educating property owners. So that includes landlords, people who might be involved with Airbnb, and even people who might be renting out a holiday home. So that's another workshop we offer, and as I say, specifically run by a small team within IRD. We normally provide these face-to-face in person, but obviously at the moment with the pandemic and the restrictions we have, we can't do that. And so currently they're all offered online. The way to register, the best way is probably to go to our website, and there is a link which I'll show you shortly. And what you'll do is select the topic that you're interested in, the nearest office, and then fill in a request to attend. So that's our workshops. It was last year around April, May that we started offering a nationwide webinar on income tax for small business owners. So it's provided by our different community compliance officers around the country, but open to anyone from any centre. So if you don't have a local income tax workshop that's provided, you can join our webinar, which is for anyone in the country. These are run every couple of weeks. At this stage, we've decided to run them in the evening at 7 p.m. Gives people a chance to get home, maybe sort dinner, and then join us online. These only run for an hour, so they normally involve a 30-minute session where we play some recordings of the income tax information, a PowerPoint presentation, and then the second half hour is involved with Q&A. And so people might have some questions after they've watched those recordings, and what we'll do is field those and answer them live for people. So the way to register for these, the best way really is again through the website, and I'll show you that slide now. So anywhere on our page, you'll see there'll be a band across the top which has these different links. So it's just a matter of finding the news and events link. If you click on that, you'll get four options that come down, and you want to select seminars. And so from there, you'll then have a list of the different centres and the different topics that we provide them on. So it's a matter of selecting the specific one that relates to you. And also there may be several on a particular site, and so you'll pick the day and the time. Most of the workshops are offered during business hours, but some of the sites run them a little bit later in the afternoon as well. So that's our webinars and our workshops. We also provide a one-to-one type of service, and this is a big part of what we do as community compliance officers. The idea is that if you have some questions around, specific questions around the sort of records you need to keep, or I'm just starting to be registered for GST, or just starting employing, and I don't really know what to do. I had a look at the website, but I've got a few specific questions that I need to get some help with. So yeah, we offer this free service where you can put through a request to have a phone call with one of us to go over your specific issues, or it might be meeting face-to-face. Hopefully we'll be back to face-to-face appointments in the not too distant future. There's no cost for this. We're usually pretty flexible about when we can meet you. So the working window, the normal sort of 9 to 5, but if necessary, we can try and accommodate you for earlier or later. There's a few different ways that you can request to meet with us. So you can give us a call, but I do know, yeah, we've started our busy season and it's not easy to get through on the phone. So the other two options, either send us a web message through MyIR, or you could also go to our website, and if you search advisory, as it says there on the slide, then you'll be directed to a page where you can put through a request and say, I'd like to talk with someone about GST. I've just recently registered, for example. And so someone in your local office will get the request and be in touch to organise a time to either catch up on the phone, through Zoom, or it might be face-to-face. So those are the different services that we provide as community compliance officers. Just a little bit of information about some of our online services. We started the MyIR service, or it would probably be 10 years ago now. And what we've been doing is adding to the functions in there over time. And I always, with the people I meet and have conversations with, I always suggest it's well worth setting up for MyIR if you aren't already registered. You're able to do quite a bit of, manage your taxes through MyIR most of the time. So you can update your details, your address, email address, phone number, etc. But for small business owners, one of the really handy things is being able to file your returns. So you can do your end of year income tax return through MyIR. Some of the really good things about doing that is it will automatically include any income that you might have earned for salary or wages or interest, etc., where you're trading as a sole trader. So it brings all that other income information together. MyIR will also do your tax calculations for you. It'll work out any rebates that you might be entitled to. For a lot of the people I've helped with their income tax return, as long as they've got the information they need, like a profit and loss account, normally they can do their income tax return in 5-6 minutes. It's pretty quick. So yeah, having MyIR to do your end of year return is really helpful, as well as being able to do your employer returns or GST returns as well. If you are needing to register for GST, or even if you're looking at something like working for families, that's something you can do through MyIR. Saves you having to contact us on the phone, and things update in real time, so they get updated quickly. You can also look at your payments, make sure a payment has been received, gone to the right place. And sometimes, you may find that you're not actually able to make payment in full by the due date. And sometimes people will contact us about asking to pay off their arrears over time. What you can do through MyIR is apply for a payment plan. We call them an installment arrangement. And again, that's something that's quite handy for people that are struggling to be able to pay in full. They can go into MyIR, they could submit their proposal, how much they'd like to pay and how often. And as long as it meets certain conditions, it can actually be approved instantly. And then you can go in and set that up. In some situations, we might need to discuss further details with you. But yeah, being able to set up a payment plan through MyIR is another handy option that's there. And also, if you've got some questions that you want to put to us, don't want to hang on the phone, and if you'd like something in writing, then you can also send us a message through MyIR. I do some of that stuff as part of my role. I know we try and answer queries within 3 weeks, but depending on the amount of calls and the amount of queries we get through, sometimes it does take a little bit longer. So that's not necessarily going to give you a quick answer, but it will give you an answer in writing. So that's, yeah, a lot of the really useful stuff that's available through MyIR. If you're not registered, then again, from most of our pages on our website, you can go to this register link up here and you can set up an account. If you are a sole trader, you can use your personal MyIR account for the business side of things. If you are setting up your business as a company, then you will need to create a new MyIR account. You can link your personal one to the company one, but yeah, you do need to take a couple of steps first to create that link. So if you're not registered for MyIR, what you would need to do is to follow that link, and you'll need to have your IRD number, a valid email address, and your personal details, so date of birth and address, etc. For most people, it takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes to set it up. It is pretty quick, and yeah, once you've got that access activated, you'll be able to go in there and use it immediately. So as I said, companies need to have an initial MyIR account set up. Just one thing about that is only a director can set up a MyIR account for a company. So you do have to be listed as a director on the Inland Revenue records to be able to set that up. It means you can't ask one of your staff to set the MyIR account up for the company. It has to be a business owner first. So yeah, if you are looking to set one up as a company, you just need to make sure it's the director that takes those first steps. Once it's initially set up, then you can allocate access to your staff to go from there. Our website, yeah, we've got a lot of information on our website. There are guides. One of the really good guides, I think, for businesses, business owners starting out is our Smart Business Guide. That's an IR 320. Yeah, a really good overview of the general information that you need to think about when you're starting. So what expenses you can claim, the return filing process, tax due dates, etc. So a lot of good resources there, booklets on our website. The IR 320 is a really good one if you're starting out. We've also got other guides around GST and for employers and KiwiSaver. Quite a few useful tools as well. I think one of the most useful ones that we have is our depreciation calculator. So if you are needing to calculate some depreciation as an expense, you can go on to our calculators and tools link, and there's a link that will take you through the process of working out depreciation. We also have a calculator which helps you work out what you would expect your income tax bill to be based on your profit. So that's our annual income calculator. That's another handy one if you're looking at sort of doing some projections, some budgeting. And yeah, also for employers, there's a PAYE calculator, which is quite handy as well. One of the other things that we offer is we have some recordings of some of our PowerPoints, some of our slideshows, and those recordings have a voiceover. So that's our webinar videos. I had that slide up previously, which said if you go to news and events, and there's a drop-down link that has seminars. If you go into that seminars page, you'll also see near the top of the page is a link for webinars and videos. And so if you go through there, you'll actually be able to watch some recordings of some of the presentations that we have. So that's quite handy as well. As I was saying at the start, we actually have a YouTube channel here at Inland Revenue. There's quite a few different videos in there, some really useful ones, quite a lot around the income tax side of things. And I know there's some there that compare the differences between being a sole trader and a partnership and a company, useful information around depreciation, etc. We have had some employer videos in there as well, but with our recent changes, the information wasn't quite up to date. So those ones have actually been removed for now. And for those who might be involved in real estate, there's a specific video that talks about real estate industry and the sort of tax issues that you might need to be aware of as well. So if you're interested in watching those, think about going on to our YouTube channel. It's under Inland Revenue, and you'll be able to go through quite a few of those. So that's the basics of the information I was going to share today. Thanks, Tessa.
Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. And you're a wealth of knowledge on everything inland revenue. So thank you so much. And we do have a few part-time things. So good. A few questions. The first one, what are some common tax mistakes or misconceptions by both sole traders and SMEs?
That's a good one. I guess sometimes people have been told that the first year of business is tax-free. I know I've occasionally heard people say that, and that's kind of correct. So I should say it's not tax-free for your first year. If you make a profit, there will still be some tax to pay. It's just that you don't pay it in year one. And so we always strongly encourage people, hey, think about budgeting for your tax from the start, because while you may not pay it to IRD in year one, if you make a profit, you will still need to pay it, but it'll just be that it's got a due date in year two. So I think that sometimes is a misconception that people will have. I think also I have met small business owners over the years who go into business and they automatically think, right, I need to set up a company and I need to register for GST. So we'll have a conversation and then work out, actually, it's a fairly straightforward one-man business. You don't have a lot of risk of, I guess, things going bad financially. And so you may not have needed to set up as a company. Your turnover is quite small. Your customers aren't GST registered. And so maybe GST didn't need to be brought into the equation as well. So I think one of the good things is to try and do some research. If possible, have a talk to a professional, an accountant or a business advisor. Yes, it will cost you some money, but they will give you some good advice and it'll save you a lot of hassle down the track. So just the fact that you're going into business doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a company or be GST registered either.
Awesome, that's brilliant, thank you. And I know when we're on the wage subsidy lines, there was so much confusion over our sole traders having their own IRD number and their business one, and trying to navigate that. So I was really glad that you touched on that as well. Does IR website link in with my accounting software?
Right, so not automatically. And as I understand it, it depends on what level of software you're purchasing as well. So there is the ability to file GST and employer returns through software, but I do know that comes at a cost. Generally, if you've got your Xero or your MYOB, Henry, etc., it's not going to automatically send any information to us. That's an extra service that you need to actually pay for that to be happening. So confirm that with your software provider, but the general answer is no, it doesn't automatically.
Awesome, thank you so much. last question, I think, unless anything sneaks in the next couple of minutes. Obviously your website is a treasure trove of information, and the quickest way to get it accessibly as well. If some of our businesses aren't techie but know they need to somehow find it on that website, where would they go for maybe some support navigating it?
Yes, right. You know what, at times I've searched for information on our website, and I haven't been able to find it, and I know it's there. I've often found that a Google search will lead you to the information you need a lot better than the IRD search function. So I think that's one thing to try. Other than that, it may be that it's quite handy to send us a web message through MyIR. And if you've got a specific query, something you want to know, you're not having much luck trying to search the website, then yeah, MyIR and a query through there is probably another good option for you. It might take a couple of weeks to get a reply, but at least you're going to get some direct guidance, and you get an answer without having to try and find it necessarily yourself.
Thank you so much for that. That's the last of my questions, but I'm just really appreciative every time I jump on a session with IR. I think this is my 4th one now. I learn something new, and I think, like lots of people, websites, they scare me, and I think, why can't I find someone to talk to? But it's so great to have accessible websites with those sort of resources and also have people on hand. So thank you. But that's all my questions, so all from me.
Thanks, Tess. Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, I mean, it's been really great to learn. I think those key messages and key, like those misconceptions, we hear them quite often when we're engaging with the business community, with those who are really new. So thank you for covering those. Really appreciate it, and a huge wealth of knowledge and expertise in you, Daryl. I know you've been with IR for a long time, so thank you for joining us. It's been wonderful to have you on with us this afternoon. To our audience who have joined us here via Zoom or a live stream, thank you for attending. Could I encourage you to have a look at the sessions that we've got coming up this afternoon? We've got 2 more left. Business.govt.nz are joining us next at 3 o'clock, and then employment.govt.nz joining us at 4 o'clock. If you'd like to join those sessions, please just head over to the Connected website. Tessa has just popped it in the chat there for you. You can register under the events section of the Hawke's Bay region there. But if you can't make it, as mentioned earlier, all of these sessions are recorded and will be uploaded to the Digital Boost YouTube channel for your post-event viewing. Do register for the sessions, because we'll pop a link directly out to you even if you can't make it at the scheduled time. That brings our session to a close. So once again, thank you all for joining, and thank you for your participation today. See you all at the next session.
Thanks, Daryl. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Daryl.
See you.
Thanks, Tess.